Now, going into next week, what do we expect? Price is merely going for a pullback into this region here, which is around 2,637.885. Welcome back, guys. So you can see how price came into 2,639.608 area, and I was able to take the trade, as you can see with the results on your screen. That was the only trade I've taken in the past couple of weeks now because I've been away. And happy new year to you guys. Happy new month, happy new year, and I wish all of us a prosperous year in the market. All right, let's dive into the analysis. So the trade was taking perfect entry, perfect take profit, and all of that. And if you remember in my last analysis, I was like, this is a more aggressive way to sell up here. A more conservative way would be to sell below 2,594.259, and then I gave a bullish scenario. Now the bullish scenario was if price breaks above this area, we want to wait for a pullback before we buy. Now, if I look at the weekly time frame, first of all, I want you to notice that for the past 8 weeks, if I count from this candle here, this red candle here, let me zoom in properly, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. We're on the weekly time frame. So each of these candlesticks represent 1 week of price action. Now, for the past 8 weeks, price has been in this area. This is a typical example of a choppy market. That's if you're looking at it on the weekly time frame. Let's look at what it looks like on the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, it is in a range. This is a ranging market. And if we go to the 4-hour time frame, you can see that range properly, or we still kind of have some kind of nice moves on the 4-hour time frame. But I'll go back to the daily time frame now. On the daily time frame, guys, I'll be dragging this red bar to the body of this candle here. So this is what I'm going to be expecting going into next week, because I'm beginning to see bullish price action. What I mean is this: there's a high here, there's a higher low, and now we have a new higher high, right? So now I would like to see price pull back into this 2,634.377 area. Simple market structure, right? Then we continue higher. So that's my bullish scenario. Let me see if this is visible on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, it's now visible. Let me go to the 4-hour time frame to determine my target. So for now, my target will be 2,713.880. All right, that is my bullish target on gold for now. All right, so I want to see price bounce off this once again, this 2,634. Am I correct? Yeah, 2,634.377. Was that what I said on the daily time? Let me go back to the other time frame. Okay, yes, that's the one. So I'll go back to the 4 hours. So yes, I would like to see price come into 2,634.377 area before we buy off. That's what I'd like to see on gold going into next week. Let me put it again. Let me draw my arrow properly so that you can see clearly. So something like this, a continuous pullback into this region before we take off to these highs here. Our first target will be 2,664.979, and our second target will be 2,713.880. All right, then for bearish scenario, like I like to give both bullish and bearish scenario just in case price decides not to go our way. So what I like to see is I like to see price continue lower. Now patience is required. So that's if we don't get our confirmation, our buy confirmation here, and price decides to keep falling, then wait for price to break below 2,594.259. Then you want to catch it on the pullback, then want to sell to the downside. Just look for a nice 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, depending on your preference. Let me go to the daily time frame. So our daily target will be around, let me put it here, or let me drag it down here. So our daily target will be, our bearish target rather, will be 2,537.452. So that is that on gold. The next on my list is USDJPY. Going into next week, what should we be expecting? See how price has created a new higher high and looks like the pullback is complete. Price may most likely continue higher next week from here. Price may most likely continue higher next week from here. So you need to look out for that. All right. I don't have any bearish scenario on this yet. All right, welcome back, guys. You can see how price continued higher. I mean, if you had entered, though I didn't take this trade actually. So if you had entered here and put your stop loss where I asked you to put it, and then you use the first area, the first swing point as your take profit target, you would have still made almost 3 to 1, as you can see here, 2.7 to 1, right? Remember that my overall bullish target on USDJPY remains 160.000. Even though price is ranging for now, that is still what I'm expecting to see. I mean, price came back into that zone at some point. I think that was last week. I didn't release any video last week because I was having fun and all of that. So if you missed the initial entry, no excuse at the second entry, right? And I saw someone that said it 2x his account because of stuffs like this. All right, so it gave another opportunity to jump in, and if you are jumped in, I would suggest that you still hold, because USD is still trading, DXY is still super bullish right now. So even if price decides to retrace, I expect it to come back close to around 156.236 before it takes off again. All right, so let's see how that happens. But for bearish scenario, let's say price keeps or continues pushing lower, and let's say you even lose the trade, right? Because I will advise you to take profit around here, or close part of your profit and hold the rest, ride the rest. But let's say you are just getting in when price reverses back into this area and you decide to buy, and you lost the trade because of course your stop loss has to be below here, right? It's fine and good. We cannot win all our trades. Now, when that happens, then we want to look at bearish scenario, because at that point we now have a new lower low, which is obviously lower than here. So want to catch it on the pullback on the much lower time frame, stop loss above. Then our bearish target will be 153.806. All right, so that is that on USDJPY. The next on my list is GBPJPY. I would be interested in buying when price breaks back above 197.509. All right, so what I'm saying is this: I would like to see price break back above here, above that zone, then catch it on the pull. So welcome back, guys. You can see how GBPJPY was trading around here, and I said, hey, for bullish scenario, we want to see price break out of this zone, then come back to retest it before we buy, right? Did that happen? Yes, of course it happened. See how price created nice waves of highs, higher low, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. See how price broke above our 197.509 area. This is where you want to get in. And of course, you should know that you need to take partials. That's if you're not closing all, you need to take partials at the previous high. Actually, I wanted to see price come into 199.644, but it is what it is. All right, at least the bullish part played out. Remember, you would have taken advantage of this on the 15 minutes time frame, so which means you would have gotten a big move, because the smaller the time frame, the wider the distance, right? So I also gave a bearish scenario, and that bearish scenario, time will not permit me to do a quick recap of that bearish scenario, or I should just do it so that you understand how these things work. Let's go. Then for bearish scenario, then you just have to wait for price to play around a little bit. All right, maybe give us a change in market structure until we have a new lower low. Now price has to play out for this to happen. So once I get a new lower low, then I will target the pullback, all right, to the previous swing point. Then that's where I would like to sell. Stop loss above, take profit below. But you may not understand this except if you have the eye to spot this thing that I'm trying to do with this arrow, because it's not going to happen exactly how I've plotted this arrow here. All right, but you need to wait for the 4-hour time frame to play around a little bit, then look for a structural shift, a bearish market structure, and then you want to sell into 193.634. Welcome back, guys. So you can see that the moment price came back down and closed around here, we now have a new lower low. Now, if you cannot spot the new lower low, I will show you. From the move from the bottom to the top here, price was creating bullish market structure like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, then like this. Now, notice how price now pushed down to this zone with this impulsive move to the downside. Now that is a change in market structure, because obviously price just broke below the previous swing points. Time will not permit me to explain this here. I think I've done a video on market structure and all of that. The video is right up here, so click on that video and watch how market structure works, or how I use market structure. And if you want to understand in details, then do yourself a favor and enroll in any of our mentorship programs. All right, so let's go back to the analysis now. Notice how price now went back to retest that zone, this swing point that it obviously just broke out from. Can you see how I went back there? That is where you want to look for selling opportunities, right? And then see how price shots to the downside, right? And going into next week, I still expect price to continue lower into 193.634. But if you are not in this trade yet, the best place to get into this trade is to wait for this pullback to be complete. Wait for this pullback to come into this area here. Let me put 2 lines there so that you keep track of it. 1 and 2. All right. Wait for price to pull back into the zone, because thankfully price is looking like it's going there. So wait for price to pull back. Look for your bearish confirmation here. Stop loss above, then take profits. Remains our zone here, which is 193.634. As you can see, even if I pull up my Fibonacci retracement tool from the most recent swing high to the most recent swing low, you can see that we have the 0.5 fib level sitting perfectly at our original selling area, or let me say my original sell area. All right, so this is what I would like to see happen on GBPJPY going into next week. The next on my list is DXY. Going into next week, I would probably like to see price pull back into 107.485 or 107.109 area before we take off. Welcome back, guys. So actually DXY failed to come into 107.485 like I would have loved to see before it buys, but it is what it is. Price just took off from there. Our direction was on point. It's obviously on point, right? And price continued higher. See how price has created a new higher high here. So if you are not in this trade yet, or if you're looking for where to buy DXY, I would suggest you look for bullish confirmation around 108.483. 108.483. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So basically what I'm talking about is this. I think I should even make it a zone. Let me add one here. All right. So basically what I'm talking about is for you to wait for price to pull back into these areas here, which is between 108.483 and 108.266. All right, so I'd like to see price come into that region before we take off again. Remember, if you've been following me for some time now, my bullish target on DXY for a long time has always been 113.332. All right, and price is headed that way. So that is that on DXY. The next on my list is EURUSD. Now going into next week, let me go to the 4-hour time frame. You can see I have my alerts set around here. If I hover there, you see my alert is set at 1.04634. So if price continues a little bit higher into my alert area, or even where it is right now, it doesn't matter, because I know my stop loss will be around 1.04918. 1.04918. So if I get in anywhere around where price is around here, I'll just wait for my confirmation, bearish confirmation, and then sell off again with this lowest point here, which is around 1.03516 as my first target. And then if price continues lower, 1.02653 would be my second target. Welcome back, guys. So you can see how EURUSD played out perfectly. See how price came to our initial target here, then gave a little bit of rejection before coming to our overall target, right? So now going into next week, we what do you expect? Meanwhile, let me delete this. So going into next week, remember on DXY, I want to see price go for a sell to buy. So on Euro USD, I want to see a buy to sell. So I'm going to create a zone around here on Euro USD. I'm going to create a zone here. All right. And I'm going to put two lines. You know how I like to do it, right? So I'll put two lines here, which is 1.03627 and 1.03435. So I'd like to see price pull back into that region before we sell off. Of course, 1.02653 will be our first target. Then if price breaks below that, my long-term target on Euro USD is all the way here, 0.97012. I mean, if DXY continues higher, then I want to see Euro USD come here, but one step at a time, 1 week at a time. All right. So going into next week, first of all, if you sell from this my sell zone on the 4-hour time frame, of course, when price comes here, you want to switch to a much lower time frame and look for your confirmation, whatever your confirmation is, because my job here is to do the analysis. It's your job to execute, and if you're my student, you already know how I execute. All right, so how you execute is not my problem. The obligation I owe you, for those that are not my student, is the analysis. And of course, I appreciate you taking time out to always tune in, week out, to watch our videos. I really appreciate you for that. All right, so it's cool. If you are not interested in our mentorship programs, just always leave those likes and those positive comments, and I love you too, bro, and sis, of course. All right, so yes, that is that on Euro USD. The next on my list and the last for this week is GBPUSD. I'm just going to create a zone around here. I'm going to put two lines there for price identification. I'll put another one here. So that will be 1.25079 and 1.24791. So I think it makes more sense to wait for price to break below 1.24791, right? Then catch it on the pullback. Is more conservative that way, because if you choose to sell where price is selling off now, your stop loss has to be far away. So you either wait for price to come to that upper region before selling off, or break below 1.24791. Then you want to catch it on the pullback, and you want to trade into 1.23305. All right, welcome back, guys. So GBPUSD price has obviously, because even if we go to the 15 minutes time frame, price broke but didn't go back for that retest. I'm not going to come here and lie to you. So obviously we'll stick with our 4-hour analysis. So price has obviously broken below that zone, even came close to our target, but now it looks like we are going for a pullback. All right, just like DXY, Euro USD, then the same applies on GBPUSD. Simple. I just want to see price pull back into this region. Patience is required. Stop loss above here. Take profits remains our target from my last video, which is 1.23305. All right, and my overall target on GBPUSD's bearish overall target on GBPUSD for now remains 1.21237. All right, thanks for staying to the end of this video. I wish you a successful trading week, a successful trading month, a successful trading year. And don't forget to enroll in any of our mentorship programs. That's if you want to. Leave a like, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.